So we're going to go ahead and turn on the key and hold it price should be turned on.
So essentially we're using an RFID reader to turn on these appliances for just your everyday household items.
Other key?
It's the other key.
Turn on.
It's the other key.
This one,
That's
right?
the turn on, yeah.
That's turn on.
It's the other key. It's the blue one to turn on.
So essentially we made smart plugs that are supposed to be connected to a relay system, and it's going to be connected to an Arduino, which is wired to our RFID reader, but also we implemented an app which is capable of turning on each individual smart switch.
So what we thought about is the idea of a smart home is that we'd have multiple appliances and that they would communicate wirelessly or through different ways. So this one was an RFID reader. We had it working. You put the RFID in when you come in home. You know, the lights turn on. Say you want to turn off the lights when you leave, you just swipe your card. But we also thought of implementing, say, wirelessly turning off and on your appliances. So we got working a lamp, and we have a video of us working a lamp and a clock using an Android app. So you just put in different inputs, and it would, you know, you could turn on 1, 2. It could tell you, you know, what appliances are on while you're not at home. We want to implement this right now. It's with a Bluetooth, so we want to implement it with a Wi-Fi shield in later prototypes. So right now you can be away from any appliance and just turn it on and off with you know, your smartphone, which everybody has nowadays. So the whole idea of this was to have, you know, many different smart plugs, which could, you know, have different ways to turn on and off, which would save us power. Because the idea is, when we're not using these appliances, they still drain a lot of ampere current. So one way would be through the RFID, which is just to drop in your key when you come in, and say if you another person comes in, drops their key, when they leave, they could just take theirs out and still leave the house lights on. And then when everybody's out, you would know, okay, let's turn off the, you know, say the lights out.
So we just figured out that the power strip was off, so maybe we'll try that demo one more time.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is like a CAD I made just like randomly to make it fit. And like basically here, if we put on top, it's kind of cool because, where's the keys? Alright. Like basically kind of just like when you're at home, you're like, oh, I'll go like this, you know, and put my keys here. And so it'd be like right there. The card saying you can just put it there and it'll read it. But yeah, that's like how I just like designed that. It's like very simple, you know, design, and it's kind of cool. Like the reader just fits in there, and it's all controlled by the Arduino that shoots 5 volts into these relays. That basically that's the threshold that it goes at when it hits it, and then it turns it on.
Our team was mostly consisted of hardware-oriented people. So Arduino being the familiar interface, we started prototyping with the Arduino with the plans to port it onto the Dragon board. Most of the work was done like that, and I think that was the only problem that we ran into. We weren't able to actually port the software to the Dragon board, but
unfortunately, in the last moments of creating this thing, for some reason,
So our computer crashed.
However, ideally speaking, this thing is supposed to one key turn on, for demonstration purposes. Now, for realistically speaking, if you have your entire family, you would want keys for a person, just like a normal house, right? So each person could store their keys on there, and as each one takes one out, it'll still keep the power on. until that last person takes it off, it'll have delay time, just much like a security system, much like that. So as you pull it out, you can walk out, the lights will shut off. Now, this is just one implementation, as my colleague earlier said that you can use an app on your phone. Do you have that?
Yeah. So do you want to show the video? It's a little small for everybody to see.
It's a little small, but
um,
essentially the idea behind the app was to communicate with the microcontroller and our switches in such a way that when you give it a command, say just a 1 or a 2, any sort of thing that you give it for the variable of that light, you can press it, send it right to the controller, and our clock should come on. You can control each one individually, much like this, where now we want to turn the lights on. You can do different rooms, and essentially you can have these power strips in different rooms throughout the entire house. This being the master switch, which powers the entire thing, but this will be able to cater each individual person and each individual power consumption to each individual appliance. Like I said, I don't like to make up excuses. I'm sorry about that. Unfortunately, technical difficulties did occur. Really, really wish that you guys could see this because it was really cool and made us cheer and all that jazz. But this was the gist of our thing. We have it at prototyping, and my colleague here will explain.
I think we're going to go ahead and try a round 2. This has been an interesting ordeal. As you can see, it does not turn on.
It's saving power already?
There you go.
That's always the best side.
Hopefully that doesn't break a relay.
Spin it however you need to.
So the way we designed it is we use relays, and these relays, for some reason,
I would like to point out, though, we are all still alive.
yes, there were
building is not
a few
going down.
places, but we're all still alive, and we put it back here so it makes sense. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.